The new LinkedIn Hiring Pro can't clone you, but it can streamline your hiring workflow. From posting jobs to shortlisting candidates to interviewing, LinkedIn Hiring Pro is the hiring partner you need, so you can focus on connecting with the right talent. In fact, small businesses report saving over 6 hours per week. So hire right the first time with LinkedIn Hiring Pro. Post a free job today at linkedin.com/quality.
If we knew more about our sleep, what would we do differently? Would we go to bed at a consistent time or take steps to reduce interruptions to our sleep? With Sleep Score, Apple Watch measures your bedtime consistency, interruptions, and sleep duration. Then, every morning it combines these factors into an easy-to-understand score from 1 to 100. So you'll know how to take the quality of your sleep from okay to very high. Know your sleep score with Apple Watch. iPhone 11 or later required.
Start your day with Quaker Protein Instant Oatmeal. The instant oatmeal ready to help you tackle whatever your day brings. Like wrangling your toddler into their car seat. That was fun. Coaching your 6th graders soccer team. Go girls! And carrying all the groceries in one trip. Whew. Try Quaker Protein Instant Oatmeal, granola, and bars. Great taste and a good source of protein. Quaker, bring out the good.
This episode is brought to you by Ferrero. Soccer's biggest stage is approaching, and Ferrero is making it easy to go all in. Pick any 2 Ferrero brands from Kinder Bueno to Ferrero Rocher, and you could win the $1 million grand prize, plus an exciting range of daily and weekly prizes. Don't miss your shot. Official rules apply. Learn more at goallinandwin.com.
Your favorite local grocery stores like Kroger, Ralph's, Fred Meyer, and more are now delivering on Uber Eats. Get 40% off your order of fresh, quality ingredients. Whether you just got home to an empty fridge or suddenly got a craving to whip up something new, you can get everything you need delivered in as little as 25 minutes. Get 40% off your order with code Kroger2026. Plus, members get $0 delivery fees. Order now on Uber Eats. Orders of $30 or more save up to $25. Ends 4/30/26. See app for details.
Drink it in, man.
Cornbread! Cornbread! Touchdown, Detroit Lions!
Drink it in, man.
Cornbread! Cornbread! Touchdown, Detroit Lions!
Drink it in, man. Drink it in, man.
Detroit Koolaid. Detroit Koolaid drinkers. What's going on, everybody? It's your host, Okrie, right here on the Detroit Koolaid Cast, talking about those lines. And I might sound a little bit different, or maybe even more crispy clean. I'm coming at you from a new mic setup, a wireless setup, a setup that I'm testing out for the NFL draft. I won't be able to play sound drops or bits, but it will let me walk around the DTO scouting office, get into some of my draft boards and some content today. Got to test it out, got to see how it sounds, because me and my co-host at Chops in the D are going to be doing about, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 hours on Thursday, and then hopefully day 2. And Chops ain't gonna show up for day 3. He never shows up to put in the heavy work. But we'll be talking draft, Lions, our picks, live on the clock. We don't wait till afterwards and say, "Oh, I told you so. You should have taken this guy. Oh, he could have done this, but we didn't. I know we should have." No, we hit the record button, start telling you what we think, watch the picks, work our boards, call out players, call out teams and make bad picks, and hope that the Lions nail this draft. Big pick in round 1. big pick in round 2, got some 4th rounders, got some 5th rounders, got some 6th rounders, might even have some late 7th round. There's lots going on with Detroit. So I got a couple little stacks here. I've got some guys I want to get into. I'm definitely not ready yet. You know me, like I'm gonna have multiple boards, probably about 6 TVs on, 3 computers highly rolling, but if I can use this lab mic and if I can end up here in shops and we can make this happen, great. If not, I'm more than happy to sit at the computer or make it happen another way, but this is definitely a test run. So let's see how this goes. I don't have any more time to mess around. Let's do this. Kool-Aid drinkers, I'm back. Took a quick pause, kind of reset the microphone. I'm ready to go now, and I told you guys I'm talking draft today. So what I've done, and this is still a work in progress, but you heard me a few weeks ago say you don't need 300 players, you don't need a 25 tab spreadsheet to kind of feel out the NFL draft, and especially when we're talking about the lines and who they're going to take. So what I did is, this is a very rough draft of kind of where I'm at with the Okrie Lions board at this point. And, you know, you've heard me rant and rave that it's not all about positions of need. You know, oh, we need this. Oh, we need that position. It's like, it's about the player. But yes, of course, you're trying to mold position of need and player to get the best of both worlds. So if we're talking about positions the Lions need, you know, an edge might be important, opposite of Aiden Hutchinson. I know everyone is fixated on the tackle, but my tune is starting to change a little bit. Not that they don't need a guy to both develop and that could be a stud, but part of me thinks there's a lot of not only rumor innuendo, but maybe just some boola going on with the tackle talk, talking about, oh, we're just going to flip Penny to the left, and we love Larry Borum as a football player. He started a lot of games, all this stuff. It's like, I think the Lions try not to lie, and they haven't been very good of saying one thing and then doing the complete opposite. But what I think they like to do is sort of say what's real and give them just enough room to sort of do whatever they want. So I think a lot of this Penei Sewell talk is just like telling everybody, oh, we don't need a left tackle. Don't look at us. And then if the right guy is there, they're more than happy to take him and leave Penei at the right. It's kind of what I think is going on there. But we'll get to it. I mean, you look at defense, again, if you're just talking positions only, edge number 1, you know, I don't know what to think about corners. I feel like they have a lot of bodies and not a lot of players that I feel can cover a coffee table. So I'm more than happy to go get myself a top flight corner, not necessarily with that pick at 17. I don't think there's a player there, but rounds 2, round 3, well, not round 3 because we don't have one unless we trade, which we probably will. Round 4, round 5 are all places I'd like to go get a corner. Safety, to me, is very up in the air. People are like, oh, you know, Brian Brands isn't going to be healthy. Kerbo ain't going to be ready. But I'm not saying Dan Jackson could start, but I think he's a hard-nosed football player that could deserve a chance. They just signed today. Breaking news! They just signed my boy Chuck Clark, who, like, I forget how old he is. Could Chuck Clark be up over 32, 34, 36 years? I don't know how old he is, but I know Chuck Clark's a football player. So he'll hit you in the mouth. He's had a lot of good productive years when given the opportunity. I like Chuck Clark a lot as a football player. So I feel like that was a nice signing by the Lions between him, Dan Jackson, a couple of those young cats who, like, name escapes me, but did some decent things last year. Could maybe hold down the fort a little bit. So safety is still a need, but right time, right price. You know, I feel like we got a decent amount of guys on the interior, but of course in the middle rounds, if you can find an interior player that can push the pocket and get after the quarterback, that's always something you're looking for. So all those positions. Then moving back over to the offense, like I feel like tight end is a pretty big need. I know they feel set with Mr. Biscuit, Sam Laporta, for all the Laporta supporters, but I'd like to get a guy that's better than Brock Wright from a talent perspective, catching the football, and I think that could be available in the mid to later rounds. I may give you a target name or two to watch. And then I know we love our top 3 receivers, Saint, #JMoFast, and Vanilla Smooth, Isaac Tesla from where's he from? Hudsonville, Michigan, where they make the ice cream. I like those 3 too, and I really like the pickup of Greg Dortch. I think I heard a quote a couple years ago that if he was like 6 foot, he'd be an all-pro. All right, folks. So glad I'm doing a test run because the old recorder went out just ran.
Whether your business has 6 floors or 6 employees, Walmart Business has everything you need to save time, money, and hassle. You can restock your break room with bulk ordering or bulk up your ordering team with shared payments. And you can get it all delivered straight to your business's door, whether that's on Wall Street or Main Street. Walmart Business. It's the Walmart you love, now for your business. Learn more at business.walmart.com.
TaxAct knows every small business owner has different tax filing needs. With TaxAct, you can file yourself with the help of an expert, or TaxAct can do it all for you. You're the boss, the head honcho, the top banana. And TaxAct is like your loyal, trusty tax aide, ready to pounce on any tax needs you might have. TaxAct is dying to pounce on some small business tax needs. TaxAct. Let's get them over with.
This episode is brought to you by Beneful. Dogs of the world, lend me your ears, snoots, and little toe beans. We've been sitting and staying for boring food for too long. It's time to demand high-quality ingredients, fresh from the pantry. Together with Beneful freshly prepared meals, we can start a mealtime revolution. Can I get a woof woof? Kick boring in the bowl with Beneful freshly prepared meals. Visit Purina.com/Beneful to shop now.
Adobe Acrobat, your new foundation. Use PDF spaces to generate a presentation. Grab your docs, your permits, your moves. AI levels up your pitch, gets it in a groove. Choose a template with your timeless cool. Come on now, let's flex those tools. Draft, design, deliver, make it sing. AI builds the deck so you can build that thing. Do that, do that, do that with Acrobat.
Learn more at adobe.com/do-that-with-acrobat.
So you might hear this episode kind of pieced together, but we'll keep this test rolling. And I think I just kind of gave you guys positions talking about receivers, like our top 3 receivers. But hey, man, you gotta have depth. And Greg Dortch, I was saying, he's a DAWG, he's a ball player. He needs opportunities. I get it. You got your top 3. But that's not a reason to stop getting players. So there's a couple players late in this draft that I like a lot. And if the right player is there at the right opportunity, you can't go wrong with taking a wide receiver based on what they make, how they impact the football game. So that's always on my list as well. And of course, you have other depth positions that they can look at as well. But let's get to some players. Let's talk through a little bit of this. We'll see how long this episode goes. With me doing this test with the microphone, the recording device, you might get a shorter show, or who knows, I might talk for an hour. We'll see what happens. When I stack my board, again, I'm getting rid of all the clutter. I don't need the top few guys, but as Chop said on a previous episode where we were arguing back and forth, you don't want to ignore a fringe guy that maybe, hey, who knows, maybe he'll be there. You put him up there, but you just don't really count on it or whatever. So when I'm looking at my board, my top 3, top couple players, I guess that would be up there, but I don't expect them to be available, is Ruben Bain, the defensive end from Miami, who I think I've been getting confused with Akeem Mesidor. is Makeem Mesidor the old dude that's 25 and Bane's the dude with the baby arms? Or is it you'd think I'd know this, but I thought I heard today that Bane has the short arms, but he's a heck of a pass rusher, projected to go in the top 10 or whatever. But I could see potentially maybe just dropping far enough. I don't want him to drop far enough. The Lions think they got to go up and get a guy like Ruben Bain, but I feel like he's talented enough where he could be that outlier where he's talented enough, but for some reason he falls to 12, then 15, and then, oh my goodness, somehow he's there for the Lions. I'm not holding my breath, though. And then Delaney, the corner from LSU, I mean, this guy just looks like a specimen. Every time I see him, I think all pro. I just feel like he looks the part. Production, good play in college, would be too good to pass up, but I don't expect him to be there as well. And then when you start getting into that middle stack of guys that I realistically think are going to be there and are targets of mine, this may shock a lot of you, or maybe not, because I brought him up a bunch, but I feel like in a realistic world, one of the most reasonable names to consider is Caden Proctor, the offensive tackle from Alabama. I think he's some things show him at 360 plus, 370. I saw he's 350, 6'7", played the left side. I think he can move his feet and use that type of size to bury people. That would be the okie doke I'm talking about. The Lions love Caden Proctor. He's there when they pick at 17. They take him, put him on the left side, leave Penne over there. You already got your interior guys, and away you go. So he's at the top of my list. Now, a guy that I bypassed his name, which I shouldn't have, that probably goes above Caden Proctor based on everything I've heard, is Monroe Freeling, offensive tackle, Georgia. I loved what I heard in his interviews talking about his relationship with Tate Rat and all the stuff he can do. I think he's the guy that was bumbling and stumbling all over the combine, which I didn't like seeing that, but I feel like Monroe Freeling is a great tackle prospect, and he'd probably he seems to be everybody's choice where, man, if he's there, you just run the card to the podium and take him. But I'm assuming he's going to be gone. That's why Proctor is kind of the top of my little mini stack that I've got going right now. And then, again, this is very thinned out based on what the Lions have done, who I think will be there, and what might be best for the football team. The other name that kind of moved up my little stack here, which I'm actually adjusting as I'm doing this recording in this pod right now, I still need to do more of a tape or YouTube deep dive, but TJ Parker from Clemson seems to have a lot of things that a lot of people like. He plays a position we need, highly touted. People talking about he would have been a top 5, top 10, going in last year. He went back, didn't have the greatest of years. So TJ Parker's got me really intrigued. Don't think you can wait on him. Think that if a lot of your other guys are gone, that he might be the option there that would best suit the Lions. Well, speaking of, let me back up. I'm actually getting myself turned around right here. Because at 17, if you want to be honest, again, another guy that I don't think is going to be there, 2 guys, maybe 3. If I have it stacked kind of top to bottom, somewhat maybe, but not going to be there, for me, it's probably going to be Caleb Downs, the big right tackle from Miami, Mayoga, and then Fanu, the right tackle, interior type, body type, offensive lineman from Utah. Those are my top 3 wish list. If somehow they were all to fall, that's probably how I would take them in that order, with Monroe Freeling after that. Once you get past those guys, again, I already talked about Proctor and TJ Parker. Now that I'm looking at it, I mean, if you're going to ask me to stack it, and those top guys I just mentioned are gone, and the guys I already mentioned are pushed down a little bit, for me, it's probably going to be Caleb Lomu from Utah. I know people think that he's projected lower and I can get him around 2. And I've heard a lot of good things about Caleb Lomu, and he seems like a type of guy where he's a safe pick. He's a good football player, talented guy that can grow. If you have your Penne and your Borum now, you could grow Caleb Lomu, and he could end up being a really good player for the long term. And that's really what it's about. I know people, we need starters. I think I even was quoted as saying we need 2 starters in the first round, but the more I read and the more I look into it, Caleb Lomu.
USAA knows dynamic duos can save the day, like superheroes and sidekicks or auto and home insurance. With USAA, you can bundle your auto and home and save up to 10%. Tap the banner to learn more and get a quote at USAA.com/bundle. Restrictions apply.
Instagram teen accounts have automatic protections for what teens see and who can contact them, plus time management tools. And Instagram will continue adding built-in safety features to help create age-appropriate experiences. Learn more about teen accounts and Instagram's ongoing work to protect teens online at instagram.com/teen accounts.
To me is a great pick at that spot. If you could trade down and get him, even better. If the draft goes how the draft goes sometimes and he slips and you can get him later and later, the better that is. But if I got to take him at 17, the Lions like him, I think that's a good investment. Mesidor, I've heard a lot of good things. Again, I think he's the older dude, but people are like, I don't care. He's productive. You could just start him day 1. Who cares if he gets a second contract? I care. Because if I'm going to invest number 17 overall, I like a guy that's going to be here more than 4 seasons. Especially if he plays edge rusher. I'd love to get the most out of his rookie contract and play him again. But from what I've heard, what I've seen, he is a quality football player. I like him more as a productive, tape tells it more so than Falk, the guy who has all the size and looks the part, but just doesn't have the juice. But Falk is on my little stack here as well. And then all else fails, you're sitting there and you don't like some of these other options. I don't have too much of a problem with Blake Miller, the tackle from Clemson, either. Moving back over to my other stack that I was kind of, for whatever reason, focused on or going through with Proctor and TJ Parker, to me, I had Terrell, the corner from Clemson, in there as well, but he just seems to be I think I saw the other day, he's projected as a nickel corner, which the Lions need, but I don't think I'm spending number 17 on a nickel corner, especially a guy who I think either got hurt at his pro day or has some injury concerns, so I'd probably bump him down. You guys have talked about my boy, Kenyon Sadiq, the tight end from Oregon. Now, one thing I'm falling into, which I don't want to be this guy, is for whatever reason, most years, if you look back at my history, I love me some safeties and some tight ends. I always feel like the tight end is that guy who's talented, he blocks, he can catch, he's smart, he's athletic. Usually you can get him in the middle to the late first round. I always feel like such a good value. But I'm also in that camp of, tight end. I don't want to call it a luxury position, which previous co-hosts as well, a lot of people like to use that term. But I'm not trying to get a tight end when I have streaming needs on defense, offensive line, playmakers, things like that. So Sadiq is in that mix of man, if the Lions loved him and they had a system with him and Mr. Biscuits and our wide receivers on the outside, and then you look in the backfield and you got a multi-dimensional, positionless. Wait for it. Hope my recorder doesn't go out while you're waiting for it. Elite weapon. And you guys know who that is, right? That's Jahmyr Gibbs. You got all those weapons and you put a Sadiq in there, that could be crazy. That could be the greatest show on turf. We already put up 40 every week, it feels like. Now it's just getting crazy if you did something like that. He's projected to the Rams, to all these other teams that would add a fancy piece. But I could see the Lions doing something crazy like that. Then in this stack, you also got my boy, Dylan Thieneman. Now, I just went through the safeties, said they did some things, but hey, man, if the Lions love Thieneman as much as I do, and they can put him with Curbo and BB in the slot and use Chuck Clark for now and have some of the young cats run some 2-3 safeties on the field, like, count me in on that. But again, I just admitted my love for safeties and tight ends. So there you go. There's my Sadiq and Thieneman love right there. And then, you know, I think I saw something on Zion Young from Missouri where he had some, I think I heard that, was he at Michigan State and had a run-in with the law of some sort? And people were just like, oh, he'll be off the Lions board based on that alone. So he's in there just because of the position he plays and some of the good things he brings to the table. But from what I've heard, rumor innuendo and whatnot, that he would be off the board. And then this guy's more in that upper stack, which I don't expect him to be there. And based on what the Lions have done, he doesn't really fit. Is Ione, the kid from Penn State, interior O-lineman. Where are you going to play him? You're not going to play him in Tate Rad's spot. You can't play him on the left side because you got Mahogany, you got Frazier, you got Scruggs in there. I mean, you got too many bodies. So regardless of how good he is or if he was there, I can't see them going that route as well. Then you move down to like the next stack, which is this a stack where the Lions would have to maybe, are these round 2 guys that are going to be there? I feel like this is more of a round 2 thought process. I'm pretty confident based on 1, 2, 4, 8, 11, 14. I gave you about 17, 18 names there for like that pick at 17 that are either all maybe there, probably won't be. You're going to get one of those football players that I mentioned, I'm pretty sure. And there's plenty of other ones too. I can name off 10 other names that you've heard on every other podcast that might be there or whatever. But that's probably going to get one of those guys with 17. And to be honest, the guy that I got in a bullet, the guy that I think, if the Lions like him, might be the best pick out of that bunch based on upside, size, ability, position, the things that he's going for, is to go get the tackle. And if it's not Freeling, and if they don't love Lomu as much, go get Caden Proctor if he's there. You can't teach a guy that's 350, started a lot of games, at Alabama, by the way, plays the left side. You can leave Penny over there at the right. I like that approach. I like that player. And that's kind of where my head is at right now. Not like, hey, that's Okrie's best case scenario overall, because there's a lot of other scenarios I like better, but I don't see them playing out. But the most realistic best case right now might be Caden Proctor for me. Where I'm at, again, a lot more homework to do. When we get into round 2 at pick 50, 5-0, I mean, here's some names.
Picture this. Me, Reese Witherspoon, in London, ordering fish and chips so often they might start wrapping me in paper. I'm traveling with my Wells Fargo Autograph Journey card, so I earn rewards wherever I book travel. 5 times points with hotels, 4 times with airlines, 3 times on restaurants and other travel, and 1 point on other purchases. Imagine getting rewarded for eating a toad in the hole. Wait, what is a toad in a hole?
Visit wellsfargo.com/autograph journey. Terms apply.
Introducing Home Care Plus, a new subscription service from Lowe's that helps make life easier by giving members a hand with home maintenance. Let Lowe's tackle the tasks you keep meaning to do, like electric dryer vent cleaning, replacing hard-to-reach light bulbs, and more. Subscribe to Home Care Plus for just $99 a year and consider your to-do list done. Members get more at Lowe's. Available in select zip codes only. Cancel anytime. Non-refundable fee. Product purchase required. Terms and service restrictions apply. Details at lowes.com/terms. Subject to change.
I put with not even really stacked at this point. My boy, Derek Moore from Michigan. We also got Malachi Lawrence, edge, UCF. We've got Cassius Howe, defensive end. We got Pons, the corner from Indiana. We got Ramsey, is he a corner? Does he play safety? I think he's a corner. He ran like crazy at Miami at their pro day. Intriguing prospect. A guy I really like. Is he round 2? Can you even get him? Well, you don't have a round 3rd pick, so you have to take him round 2, and that's Bud Clark. I feel like Bud Clark is a Kerbo clone of sorts. He can play the football. He's big, athletic. He's got swag. I feel like Bud Clark could be a very nice pick. And if Kerbo isn't healthy, you got a guy that's similar or Kerbo light in Bud Clark. Dennis Sutton, the defensive end. I believe he's a Penn State kid. Gosh, I can't totally remember. I don't have this completely organized the way I want it. I got to be honest. Yet. It will become draft day. Don't you worry. And then I'm polarizing on this guy. Jayshon Barham from Michigan. There were times he looked like the biggest freak on the football field. There were other times where it was like, I hate Jayshon Barham's game. He didn't feel like he wanted to deal with the run game, or he was getting blocked up for no reason. There's other times, like I said, he's just a freak of nature, just blowing people up, bending the edge, getting after people. So he's going to be on the Okrie list just because of where he went to school and because of the freak athlete that I feel like he is, if the Lions feel they can coach him up and that he will play hard-nosed football. A couple other names I should just throw in that like round 2-ish bucket, or if the Lions even trade down. McNeil Warren is a safety from Toledo that's getting a lot of pub. He could even be a late round 1 guy, but early, mid-ish round 2 would be kind of where I'd like to get him. Don't forget about my guy, Jacob Rodriguez, linebacker. Getting a lot of love, a lot of hype. Great kid, hard-nosed, tested better than you'd expect. I like Jacob Rodriguez a lot. The Lions, have Jack Campbell, who's turned out to be an absolute stud. They cannot wait to pay him. They love him. I get it. They paid Derek, I can't spell my first name correctly, Barnes. He's a good player, big physical specimen, could get better, be more consistent. You got Rodrigo. That's the live version. I don't have the sound drop. He's good, but again, depth player. I don't expect to run him out there all day long. The Lions, again, Dan freaking Campbell, Brad Holmes act like when they signed Rodrigo that, oh man, what a great get. It's like, I'm not knocking the person or even the player really, but I'm not signing Rodrigo back and thinking he's just this dominant, put him out there a ton and just let him do his thing type linebacker. I think he's a spot player, special teamer, can get after the football, can sniff out things, not so great in coverage, thumper type player, and nothing more but nothing less. That's not a knock in it at all. But Jacob Rodriguez to me is playmaker, gets the football out, very instinctive. Like I said, great person on and off the field. If you have a guy like him and Jack Campbell running the middle of your defense, like, it's going to be a problem for other teams. So I don't know if the Lions feel they need another guy like that, or if they would value him in that way, because other people say, oh, he's not athletic enough. He's a later round guy. I think you're going to have to get him in rounds 2 or 3 if you want that type of player, and I want that type of player. I feel like that's the kind of guy I look for when I'm talking Lions, fits, the grit type of guys. Here's the guy that's really off the radar that nobody's really talking about. I heard a couple pods talk about him, and I was like, man, this is a guy I've always liked. Had some injury issues, lack of production at times. But Antonio Williams, out of Clemson, he's a wide receiver. Seems to be best kind of slot, but could play the outside. He's a very Golden Tate, St. Brown-ish type, where it's just like, I don't know about the toughness in regards to St. Brown, but I feel like he's a very savvy player, good route runner, can be dynamic at times, like really was projected to ball this year and just had some injuries. But when he was out there, they're throwing the ball to Antonio Williams. They weren't throwing it to these other high-end studs that they have over there at Clemson as much as they were looking for him. Number 0, I believe, for Clemson was his number. So he's intriguing just as that mid trade down, hey, we just love this guy, we need another wide receiver playmaker at a good price type guy. There's been a lot of people that are kind of going back and forth and really bashing Jennings Dunker, saying, oh, he can't move his feet, he can't do this, he can't do that. You know what I love about Dunker, other than his red mullet and his crazy beard and the fact that he looks like an offensive lineman from Central Casting? Jennings Dunker, just what I saw at the combine. Dude is a hard worker, man. He was in.
Next time your to-do list is too dang long, use Shipt same-day delivery. Shipt connects you to personal shoppers who offer a one-stop shopping and delivery solution for, well, just about anything. Groceries? Picked carefully from your neighborhood grocer. Pet supplies? Dropped to your door from PetSmart. Crafts, tools, medicine? All deliverable from Michael's, Lowe's Home Improvement, CVS, and so many other stores. Try Shipt today with a 14-day free trial. Download the Shipt app or visit shipt.com. That's SHIPT.com. Terms apply.
Refreshing wild cherry cola meets smooth cream. The treat you deserve. Pepsi Wild Cherry and Cream. Treat yourself.
This episode is brought to you by Stouffer's. Here comes 3-time juggling champion Natalia Rogers. She's juggling law school, her TA job. Oh, narrowly catches the laundry. What's that fourth ball? Parents unexpectedly showed up at dinner time? Is that too much for Natalia? Not with Stouffer's Chicken Alfredo and its mouth-watering mix of Asiago, Romano, and Parmesan. When you're juggling 4 things at once and the clock strikes dinner, think Stouffer's.
They're getting after it in the drills. Looked like he was doing the exact same when I saw clips of him at the Senior Bowl. Like, this is a guy that I feel like, if you don't feel that his athleticism just totally writes him off your list, I mean, he doesn't meet your measurables, you don't think he can grow and be better, this is the type of worker that I feel like, if you think he's tough enough and can hold up and strong enough to play, he played tackle in college. Like, everybody thinks he's an interior player, maybe even best as a center in the long run. Like, Jennings Dunker is a guy who I would consider in the mid to late rounds as a hard-working interior offensive lineman. You can never have enough depth and enough guys like that on your football team. And same goes for Pat Coogan out of Indiana. Falls in that same type of bucket. I heard the old 97.1 the ticket to the afternoon 10 o'clock to 2 show was wanting to get Pat Coogan at 17, and maybe we'd be fortunate enough to get him around 2. I mean, I see Pat Coogan and mocks going like in rounds 4, 5 now. You know, like, I don't think this is a guy you have to have, but he's just like a keep an eye on him. The Lions already addressed center. I think I did some research on Coogan. He's really only played center in a little bit early in his career at a guard spot. So this isn't a guy that you can just say, okay, we're set at center, like, you're going to be a great guard, right? Like, he really hasn't done that, but he probably could do it. And because he's played so much center, it gives you great insurance there, but I'm not spending a high resource there. And here's a guy that, like, in rounds 2, like, I don't want to take him round 2, but I don't know that he'll be there in round 4, because I think the Lions pick in the mid to late round 4. He's probably going to go on late round 2, maybe early to mid round 3. Marlon Klein, tight end from Michigan. But Okrie, you just love all these Michigan Wolverines. #go. You're damn right I do. And you know why? Because he was a good football player. We got the basketball team heading to the Final Four. We got the hockey team heading to the Frozen Four. We had the women's team that was almost in the women's Final Four. I mean, Michigan is just dominating now. So, of course, I like Klein. I like Derek Moore. I like Barham. All these guys, because not only do they go to a great school and are well-educated, but they're big freak athletes, and they're hard-nosed. You don't go to Michigan and play the type of football they want, and you're not going to block people, or you're not going to be on your assignments. Like, that's why Marlon Klein's on my list, is that tight end I talked about, where he's better than Brock Wright, but he's not as good as Mr. Biscuits, but he's also not going to cost me. I'm going to try to get Marlon Klein in round 4, and if I make a couple trades and I have a mid to late third rounder and he's there, I'm highly going to consider Marlon Klein. So that's where I'm at with that. And then the deep late round flyer that I have on my little short list, again, this is not the comprehensive final Okrie gotta have him list. This is a little teaser, a little NFL draft teaser using the new mic walk around my room setup. Is Fletcher, the running back from Miami. Shout out Benny Blades and those Hurricanes. Every time I saw that dude in the college football playoff in those bigger games, I was like, this is a monster back that can run away from you, and you can probably get him in round 5 or 6. Like, I love that type of value, that type of football player at a position the Lions could use a thumper, could use a guy that also can have speed, a guy that has swag. You're telling me you don't want Jahmyr Gibbs, my boy Pacheco, and then a late round flyer on Fletcher from Miami? Give me that all day. So that's kind of where I'm at right now with the one, and really that's only like the first and second round teaser and a couple later guys where maybe round 4, maybe round 5, 6. I do have a 7-round Okrie mock draft in the can. I did it the other night. I absolutely love who I got, where I got him. I think if I put it up, I'm going to actually take out the old PFF grades, take out their ratings. I don't know if you guys heard, but I think Collinsworth, he sold PFF, but they're going to another group, but they might not be called PFF, but I don't know what's really going on there. But there's a lot going on with that whole company and the selling of that company and whatnot. But I'm going to take away their rankings and their grades because I feel like I just want you to look at the players and look where I got them and decide for yourself. Do you like it? Do you not like it? Because I feel like it was a little bit of a mixed bag, and you can always play that game. This is the kind of stuff at Chops in the D, my co-host, does. He goes and does a bunch of mocks and figures out what they grade well and what works well for the old system, puts it in there, gets the picks so he gets A's and B pluses on everything, and then puts the mock out saying, look at Okrie, A minus, an A draft. Beat that. It's like, I may not beat the grade, but everybody knows that you can show anybody a mock draft the day after the draft, and they go, oh, that's a great draft. And that ends up not being so good. Or, oh, man, that looks like a reach on a couple of those picks. And then it ends up being incredible. So take away the subjective grades, the rankings, and just look at the player. Look at where I took them. And shout me out at Derek Okrie. You know how that's spelled. DEREK OKRIE on the old Twitterverse, the X machine, and give me your feedback. It was fun. The more I get to know all these players, again, I'm walking around the DTO scouting office now. I got about 1, 2, 3, 6. I got about 8 to 10 screens in here that are all hooked up to different computers. I've got the draft board with all the different teams up. I've got my overall board, which I've got 1 to, it's going to be about, on that one, I'm probably going to put a good chunk of people. So it'd probably just be 1 to 250, straight based on whatever system or site we end up using. I got another area where it's position, so I can see positions real quick. Hey, these are the top stacked, tackles, edges, kind of in the order that I end up sorting them. Gave you those positions of need. You always got to keep your eye on that. It's always very fun, and me and Chops are always really like, we're talking, we're joking, we're kind of evaluate. A lot of times we're just picking, hey, Seattle's on the clock. Who do you think? Okrie, boom, I throw a name out, they turn the card, and it's that player. That's kind of how it goes down. But we have fun kind of making the picks for other teams. But really, when it comes draft day, you guys know who you heard our coverage. Like, we talk for 5 hours straight. We give our opinions. We're doing other things. Chops is working the Google Sheet. I'm here in the draft room doing my thing. But we're really laser focused on what do the Detroit Lions need to do? Like, who's out there? We're trying to pare the boards down, so we're only talking about people that matter to us. We're not worried about Mendoza. We don't care about some of these high-end receivers. We're not worried about, somebody taking a top flight, like I said, some of these corners that we're not going to be as in on. So I feel like we really pare it down. We give you that context. We have done great making our picks live. Again, people make this like it's brain trust. Oh, I can't believe it. I don't know how they do it. If you work your board, by the time the Lions are on the clock, we know who we would want if we're sitting in that room making the call. I know there's a lot more involved when it comes to money and personalities, and I'm not saying I could run a scouting room or a draft room. What I am saying is I could sit here in my office, put in all the work. By the time the Lions are on the clock at 17, at 50, where they at like 8, last time I checked, 17, 50, 118, 128, 157, 181, 205, 213, and 222. We're going to have good names for all those football players, and we're trying to put together our best picks based on what the Lions need, but who we like. And then also, once we take an edge or a tackle, probably in round 1, you're not going to take another one. We're not trying to get the BPA and just show you how great we were at picking. They got to fit for not only our team, but our previous pick. And then in round 4, okay, you took 2 players. Those guys are off the board. How are you going to stack it? And then we always end up with an actual draft class at the end of the day that was live on the clock. So it's none of that I woulda, coulda, shoulda, or wait 3 days later and say, you know what they should have done in round 4 is take this guy who now you know is available, but you were sleeping on your couch and you wouldn't have taken him because you didn't even know he's available type of thing. We do it live on the clock, as well as always fun to look back. And there's been plenty of ones I've got wrong over the years. Man, thought it was great, thought it was a great value, thought it was a great player, washed out in 2 years. There's been guys I've taken that are Hall of Famers. There's been guys that I've taken that have been great players for the Lions. I took J-Mo live on the clock. We're going crazy when they took Hutchinson. Penei Sewell was a guy I came around on late where I didn't know, like, man, I don't know. Can you just flip him to the right side? I don't love it. By draft day, I was like, take Penei Sewell. I came on the next day. I told you he's a great football player, Hall of Famer, gold jacket. That's exactly what he's been. And I'm not saying other people didn't say that as well, but that's the kind of fun stuff we get on draft day. So Choppy Chop went ahead and moved around some family vacations and his work life, and I got a whole bunch going on right now. But by the time April 23rd comes on Thursday, we're going to have all these boards raring to go. The next few weeks, you're going to get more Okrie deep dives on, man, here's my rounds 4 targets. Here's the later guys I like. Here's the deep dive on the mock that I put out, which again, that could come out any day. It might come out when you're hearing this pod. It might come out this Friday. I might wait until mock draft Monday next week. Who knows? But that's going to drop, and I'm going to try to do some more mocks if I can. So everybody, with the new setup, I don't even know how long I've been yakking here with no breaks. I probably did about 30 to 45 minutes. That's usually what it comes in at. I'll try to mix it together so it sounds crispy clean for you. And hey, man. How do I normally end this whole thing? Everybody, that's what I got. And I'll catch you next time right here on the Detroit Koolaid Cast. Take care, everybody. I'm out.
Pack the bag, start the plane. This game is over. It is over. What a comeback by the Lions.
Drink it in, man.